Hey guys, something a little different this time, something a little more journalistic and raw. I just have my GoPro here and I just took the train to downtown Seattle and I'm in Chinatown. I want to show what the city looks like currently, because the companies in the area and even the city workers are starting to say that people need to come back to work through the summer. And I want to show people what they'll find when they come back to downtown Seattle. Many people haven't been here for a year, and I don't come here. I've been here like 3 times in the last year. As you can see, the city is pretty empty. There's boarded up windows everywhere and more pigeons than people. But it's not completely empty, which is worth saying. And things have started to clean up a little bit, so I want to see exactly how much they've cleaned up since the last time I came. I'm currently in one of the parts of the city which has been the most affected by recent events, in between Chinatown and Pioneer Square. So far I haven't seen anything really out of ordinary. It looks rather clean, but I know where I'm about to enter, maybe even a bit dangerous to be filming, so we'll have to see how I can be a bit more discreet. The main thing that you notice here is, even though I'm in downtown, there are very few people here. And traffic is a bit light, but it does exist. Most people just go through by car. I am now in one of the blocks here, which was completely covered in tents and trash just a couple weeks ago. And right now it's completely clean. I'm very, very surprised. Again, this Pioneer Square neighborhood is one of the ones that has been the worst. So this is a surprise to me. I don't know when they clean it actually. There are some traces of pollution, but it looks like they even pressure washed around here. Here you see boarded up businesses, which happened because of the riots last summer. We haven't had riots since that time. It was an episode here, not constant like some other places. And right now I am approaching an area that does have tents, but this is again nothing like it used to be. It is probably 20 times better than before. I'm now going to the Pioneer Square station here for the train, and this is probably the worst area in the city. Some other spaces like green spaces near the freeway and stuff are a lot worse off, but as far as the city goes, this was one of the worst before, so I want to see what it's like now.
Excuse me, bro, can you please spare 75
Sorry,
cents?
I don't have anything. And here you see the whole park is still full of tents. And this is, by the way, right next to the city hall. This is a jail, and city hall and the courthouse are right behind there. So when the city workers come back to work, this is what will greet them right there. I had to turn off the camera there because I was being hassled and I had to put it in my pocket. People kind of rushed me as I entered that block, and they started asking me for money and other things. And I looked around and I was quite outnumbered. Just about everybody there was kind of loitering and probably on drugs by the look of them. So it wasn't a safe place, and I moved on, and I don't want to have my camera out in the open. There has been a big spike of crime over there on that exact block. It was featured in documentaries and so on, so I don't really want to risk it there. I'm moving on now to the central part of downtown, walking north. And I have to say, the city continues looking very clean. They have cleaned very hard here since I last came. Still boarded up businesses are around me, and that I think is going to remain constant. But let's see what I find as I move forward into the core of downtown Seattle. Some of these brand new buildings, like this one there, has barely been occupied before it was vacated for the COVID. Here too you can see it's very sparse. There are barely any cars, very few people. Here now I am walking by a building I used to work in, and right here is a vacated business. No one's taking it. I think it was full when I used to work here a while ago. Other than that, some stuff does remain. It looks like it's in business. Here too used to be a very lively building. and it's now empty with just a few security guards, and that's it. Same on the other side, I see a guard, and I've never seen guards before, by the way, like this in downtown Seattle. Now I see several of them around every block. I'm walking up 2nd Avenue, and it looks almost like a ghost town except the cars, but there are whole blocks on which it's just me, and it's kind of a dystopic feeling where, you know, those movies where civilization shut and there was just a bunch of zombies or something. I'm now between Seattle's main museum and the symphony hall here called Benaroy Hall. So two normally very busy places, but currently I see 4 people on the street and not close to me. So still remains very empty, but very clean. I could say probably I have never seen the city this clean, contrary to what was previously said. And previously, indeed, even if you look on our channel, we went through downtown Seattle and it looked terrible, like really, really dirty, worse than ever. And right now, all of a sudden, I'm seeing it cleaner than ever. Down there normally is a block with a lot of problems, and I see from here that that remains the case. That block is a no-go zone for me because all the time there are news reports that people were robbed or killed or shot or attacked on that block, so I don't want to go and walk through. But it still looks that way as it has been. That has not improved very much. I'm now in the heart of downtown Seattle, and I'm seeing buildings which I've never seen before because they were completed during the lockdown. Like that huge building behind me, that was going to be one occupied by Amazon, but they gave it up when things went sour, so I don't know what its future is currently. Huge building, and there are many, many more that were built during the boom time, and now it's unclear who is going to be occupying them. Large employers are emptying out a lot of buildings, probably the most Boeing, but also Amazon is vacating some buildings and moving them to the suburbs or in different cities or on the East Coast, Texas, many other places. So there is a bit of an exodus of business in particular. Commercial real estate is in serious trouble here. Here we have Arcturix, where I wanted to actually go today and buy some stuff, but it's completely boarded up and it's not open anymore. But the art for the boarding up is nice. This used to be badly affected. There was a lot of problems in this park in particular during the riots and later when it was overrun and trashed badly, but now it looks quite clean, quite clean. Some people even are trying to have some kind of fun there. I see they've set up a tent. Some businesses, as you can see, are surviving. This hot dog place here and the candy shop over there, they're too tough to take down. They're in high demand, chocolate and hot dogs. Let's see what else we can find here. This is the commercial area with most of the retail and the malls. We have Nordstrom there, so let's see how they are doing. Here we have Nordstrom, which is open, and I am not seeing any boards. They are letting their windows be exposed. So Nordstrom is not very afraid. It says, come on, we are open. And Louis Vuitton merchandise is on display here. I don't know if they upgraded their glass or what, but they're not afraid to do that. Over there used to be some store, I can't remember, maybe Forever 21. But I now see that it has been boarded up and someone is living outside of it in a shopping cart. Very few people have come back actually downtown. I know a lot of people are driving around and the roads are full again, but very few appear to be downtown. Here you see more staff, either security or some kind of transit personnel. So those kind of people are around. Ahead of me here, we are approaching Amazon's headquarter. These colorful buildings made of glass. And that office has been at about 10% capacity from what is being said. And they plan to return sometime in the summer or fall. No certain date because we don't know how things play out from here on. So around the Amazon office, I'm not seeing any signs of problems, very few in fact, if any. Some construction in fact is going on. This is a new building I had never seen before, the Chase Bank there, and looking quiet and clean. Up close to Amazon's building now, so when Amazon's employees return here sometime through the summer, this is what they'll find. This is where they'll be working in many of these buildings. And I have to say again, it's very, very clean. They will not find anything shocking here or anything dangerous per se. Very empty here. It is after hours, but people normally hang in these areas after hours as well. They work hard and long hours, so being this empty has never been the case before. It's unique right now. Here we're seeing more and more of Amazon's headquarters on each side. The famous spheres are right ahead of me. On this side, growing a rainforest inside, and more buildings here. This building was barely ever occupied. Many buildings that I'm going to show you now in downtown, in this part of downtown, were in fact completed during the lockdown or a bit before it, and have never been occupied, or they may also have been around a bit as residential buildings like this one, but they have a very huge vacancy rate currently because many people moved out of the city during the lockdown, and probably that's a big reason why the streets are so empty, even though what you're seeing around here is a huge residential capacity that has all been built out in the last 5 or so years, sometimes 10, and this capacity is nowhere near full. It's very sparse currently. Maybe people will start returning to the city after the companies return, but for the moment the companies are still either slowly coming back or they have not returned at all. So it remains very, very empty here. Here I want to show you a little bakery, and it's open, I think at full capacity or maybe a little less, but inside people are sitting with no masks. Some of them are hanging out here. So the city is mostly actually open for business. The restaurants and the cafes have reopened. And even though you have a mask on while you're standing, as soon as you sit down, you take it off. So you might as well be maskless at that point inside that space. This is Whole Foods downtown, a place which was normally very, very busy. Currently not so busy, probably the least busy I've ever seen it, but still there are people. Ahead of me here, I'll show you an interesting showcase. The park which I'm approaching is right in between the branches and headquarters of many of these very, very elite corporations. During the lockdown, this whole park had filled with homeless people living in tents, and it was famously cleared out. So let's see what it looks like now. As you can see already, once they have forced the people out of the park, they are now simply across the street from it, but not in such high numbers. So that's what you're seeing on multiple sides. In this park, there was just about no space that did not have tents, and just camping overall, and a lot of trash, a lot. So you can see how even the soil here has had to be treated. They've dug around and cleaned it up and stuff. There's no more grass actually in this park. It's all just dirt, which all the grass was ruined. And I'm seeing here that I think the government workers or whoever they hired have come in and cleared it, and now it's all dirt. So I think they've planted, it looks like they've planted flowers and probably grass on the side here. But other than that, it's completely clean. And that's a huge, huge improvement. There even is a child playing on this playground, which is a little ballsy, knowing the conditions here earlier. So you can see the park is now completely clean. And just in a few of the corners around it, some of the people that were in the park are now across the street. But I don't know where the bulk of them are going. You know, this is the main criticism with what is happening currently. It is good that they're sweeping. However, everyone knows that there's still no real plan or solution. And these people are effectively still stranded. So if they are cleared from here, they're simply going to go somewhere else. And that's the question everybody is now asking. How are you going to solve that? And personally, I have not heard of any kind of real plan. And nothing has been proposed which actually makes sense and sounds like it's going to work. That is the situation. But I have to say, I came thinking I will see a big disaster like I saw multiple times last year. However, it's almost completely clean. I went through a lot of downtown Seattle, many of the worst affected areas. Some of the problems remain, but the vast majority is very, very much better. I just randomly saw Susie just now.
I randomly saw you.
What are you doing here?
I just finished working.
Nice. Okay, you're doing a photo shoot?
I did. It was a cocktail event. So
that's now even cocktail events are happening?
Apparently so.
Amazing.
Yep. My last event before lockdown was a cocktail event. My first event after lockdown is a cocktail event. So there's money in cocktails.
So things are really opening up.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely are.
This park, I was really nervous because I had to park by it, and then this park has been full of campsites. But yeah, it's like clean now. There's like no sign of campsites here. So
yeah, they have cleaned up just about everything. Starting from Pioneer Square, it's cleaner than you've ever seen it. Like nobody's there almost.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Something changed.
Yeah. I came to cover it and this is what I found.
Huh.
Well, now that I met up with Susie, she can join the vlog.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in a part right where we met, and here they've been building more and more while the city was locked down, so we actually haven't even seen all this.
Pretty much this entire road, this is Denny up in front that we're approaching. The whole like right side of Denny has been totally redone. They're not even done with it yet. They're still under construction, but like just massive skyscrapers going up.
Yeah, and new parks right here, strange art.
Weird excuse for art. Yes.
Big buildings behind us. And more built. They're all about 40-something floors.
Yep.
And so you see, far from having stagnated or collapsed, Seattle actually continues being developed at a very rapid pace.
Mm-hmm. A lot of these buildings, in fact, I don't think they're office buildings. I think they're mostly apartments or condos, so they're expecting a lot of people to move down here.
Yeah, and for all these billions of dollars of investment all around us, it would have been a huge problem if the city remained trashed and ridden by crime. Mm-hmm. So now we're seeing this effort to clean up the city as they're reopening downtown and hopefully to revitalize it, because it really needs it. It's newly developed. Almost half of downtown was just built.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so as a lot of employees come back to work, you know, it's just announced that a lot of companies are not letting people work from home indefinitely. You got to come back to the office. So between that and plus all of these new apartments and all the hotels that are still here, I think, yeah, there's a very good reason to clean things up. And hopefully it happens faster, and hopefully we can keep it clean. But we'll see how it goes.
It's a really good point that it has to stay this way, because we're being disillusioned. We've seen it go to really bad lows, and now we're kind of cautiously optimistic that it may clean up, but we know how bad it was just like a month or two ago.
Yeah, and it didn't take long for it to get bad, and it stayed bad for about a year. So, oh look, another 39-story tower going right there. 39, more here, and just all around the skyscrapers are popping up like mushrooms. And we haven't been here in a while, so we haven't even seen this neighborhood. Basically, it's brand new to us. Yeah, really.
And even though it's in the middle of our city, we've been here a million times. It's just been rebuilt while we were gone.
Yeah, they're basically taking every little piece of land or parking lot that's still available, and wherever it's open, they're building, and they're building big.
Yeah. So that's what's happening in downtown Seattle. It has not collapsed economically, and it hasn't been lost entirely to the homeless or the crime. It actually has just been restored. Very shocking or surprising to me. I thought it would be the opposite, actually.